I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Tuesday, November the 12th, 2013. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the Knesset yesterday that the delay in reaching a deal in Geneva between Iran and world powers was an opportunity to better the terms of such a deal. Netanyahu said Israel is united in opposition to the deal being offered to Iran. We are speaking in a clear and unequivocal voice, and the time that was achieved over the weekend must be utilized to achieve a much better deal. Meanwhile, the New York Times published an editorial yesterday criticizing Netanyahu, among others, for trying to sabotage the negotiations in Geneva. The Times said the inconclusive talks over the weekend between the P5+1 and Iran were disappointing, but that two critical points had been for the most part ignored. The first being that diplomacy takes time, and the Times said, second, if all those inveighing against any deal, namely members of Congress, Israel, and Saudi Arabia, see the weekend results as a new opportunity to sabotage it, what is the alternative? The Times said Netanyahu used the weekend's negotiations with Iran to, quote, generate more hysterical opposition over a supposed deal before it was made public. The editorial further said it would be nice if Iran agreed to Netanyahu's demands and dismantled its entire nuclear program, but that is unlikely ever to happen. Adding the best way to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon is through a negotiated deal that limits uranium enrichment, curbs the plutonium program, and allows for maximum international monitoring. Newly reinstalled Israeli Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman urged calm amid tensions and disagreement between Israel and the U.S. surrounding the issue of Iran. Lieberman was sworn in as foreign minister yesterday after his acquittal last week of charges of fraud and corruption. Today was his first day back on the job, where Lieberman addressed the foreign ministry and said, "Our relations with the U.S. is paramount, and without that, we can't maneuver in the present world." Lieberman said the disagreements are natural and always existed and simply do not need to be heard the way they are being heard outside, adding, "I think that a calming sound needs to be heard." The American Jewish Committee is calling on New York State authorities to fully investigate charges of anti-Semitism in Pine Bush, New York public schools. This follows a New York Times report last week claiming ongoing anti-Semitic harassment and bullying of Jewish school children there. AJC's Director of Anti-Semitism and Extremism, Kenneth Stern, said if we are truly going to have a policy of zero tolerance for anti-Semitic bullying, a statewide investigation into the problem is essential. The Times report cited a lawsuit brought earlier this year against the school district by the parents of several Jewish school children, claiming incidents of psychological and physical harassment, which they say was pervasive. And they say that complaints to teachers and administrators at the school district were ignored. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said on Friday that he had directed the New York State Police and the State Division of Human Rights to investigate the allegations, saying the reports of rampant anti-Semitic harassment and physical assaults at Pine Bush schools, if true, are deeply disturbing. Cuomo also asked the State Education Commissioner John King Jr. if the agency knew about the situation in the school district. The State Education Department said they did not, and that they had heard about it only with the New York Times report, adding that they would fully cooperate with the investigations. School officials reject the allegations, denying claims that anti-Semitic bullying has been widespread and that they looked into any complaints brought to their attention and took action when necessary. School Superintendent Joan Carbone posted a statement on the district's website saying they believe Pine Bush is a tolerant community and that the district, quote, takes all reports of discrimination or bullying seriously. The leader of the Council of Europe assured members of the Conference of European Rabbis that his organization will not ban the Jewish ritual of circumcision of boys. The Council's Secretary General Thorborn Jagland told the rabbis at a news conference in Berlin yesterday at the conference's annual convention that he wanted to make sure it was absolutely clear that in no way does the Council of Europe want to ban the circumcision of boys, adding it is a very important part of Judaism and of Jewish life. Yaglan referred to a non-binding resolution passed last month by the Council's Parliamentary Assembly, which unanimously came out against the practice. Yaglan said, however, freedom of religion must be protected. A small portion of the collection of Nazi-looted art that was found in a Munich apartment has now been posted on a website to try and locate the owners of the pieces or of their heirs. As we reported to you earlier this month, the artwork, which includes works by Chagall, Picasso, and Matisse, was discovered last year but only revealed to the public this month by German weekly Focus. Only 25 out of over 1,400 works went online yesterday, and the site was already overwhelmed with hits. Germany also said that it was assembling a task force of experts to speed up the research process on the piece's history and ownership. Following a call by World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder, German federal government spokesman Stefan Seibert said yesterday, "We would like to advance much faster than before regarding the establishment of the origin of these artworks." The government understands, he said, that the leaders of Jewish organizations are asking many questions right now because they often concern very old people who were victims of injustice. Lauder had written in the German national daily paper Die Welt that a quick publication of the entire find was needed. Lauder wrote that the time was now of the essence, with possible heirs elderly, and that injustice would continue as long as clarity was lacking. Lauder wrote, "Valuable time has been wasted. Neither the possible claimants nor possible witnesses in the return process are getting any younger. Injustice will not be removed but continued so long as there is no clarity created about the owners." And an exhibit of Iraqi Jewish artifacts are now on display at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. The exhibit displays thousands of items discovered by American troops back in 2003 after the ousting of Saddam Hussein. The items were sent to the National Archives, where they were carefully restored and are now available for public viewing through January the 5th. Several Jewish groups and U.S. lawmakers had protested plans to return the items to Iraq after the exhibit, asking that they remain in the custody of one of the expatriate Iraqi Jewish communities, as opposed to in Iraq, where there are virtually no Jews left. However, the State Department's Director of Iraq Affairs, Anthony Godfrey, said that that was not likely to happen. He said the U.S. had made a commitment to return the items, and that without that commitment, the archive would not exist. He said an advantage of the return of the archive would be that more Iraqis would know the important role of Iraqi Jews in Iraq's history. Tonight on Shalom TV at 8 o'clock, a new exhibit from the Neuberger Museum of Art at Purchase College called The Compromised Land reflects the photographic and video work of 21 young Israeli artists. And then at 9, author Joshua Safran joins Mark Golub to discuss his new book, Free Spirit, Growing Up on the Road and Off the Grid. That's tonight here on Shalom TV and ShalomTV.com. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Tuesday, November the 12th, 2013. I'm Teisha Bader.